Well, hello everybody. Hello. I'm curious, who has seen the Swami before? Well, you're seeing him again. Who has seen the Swami before but don't remember? Okay, that is called vujade. Vujade is when something actually has happened, only you forgot. It's great to be here, and you know what? We have no choice. Because no matter where we are always here, and it's always now. So who would like to be in the now more? Too late, already done. You want to be in the now, you have to be very, very quick. But I predict that living in the now will be the wave of the future. And time itself will become a thing of the past. The calendar's days are numbered. I know all of this because I was a futurist in a past life. Although now I spend all of my time in the timeless now. I think they call this Alzheimer's. It's great to be here in this wonderful, beautiful space. Didn't you love that beautiful sound, that tuning and atoning? You're all attuned up and you're all atoned up, which means you can skip a karma payment. It's very important. And it's great to be in this beautiful, well, it's a temple, it's a church, right? And it's my kind of spiritual center, strictly non-dominational. That's the best kind. Yeah, you give yourselves a hand. And thank you, Toddy Blackstone and the LA IONS group for sponsoring this. Give a hand. I always feel positively charged around IONS people. I don't know about you. Oh, well, what an interesting time. I just got back from the Ascended Masters golf tournament. Now, listen, I hope I'm not offending anyone, but I find that watching golf is boring. Yeah, to me, watching golf is like listening to bowling on the radio. But the Ascended Masters is a very, very special event. This year, Buddha got a wholeness and oneness. And it's held in the Himalayas, and as you know, perhaps, in the Himalayas, there are beings who are so enlightened, they no longer need to eat food. Did you know about this? And people exist on breath alone. Well, somebody up there got the idea. They opened up the world's first breatharian restaurant. Well, they don't serve any food, but the atmosphere is terrific. So I went to this place. I had to check it out for myself. I'm sitting there. I see three guys walking by. They have clothespins on their noses like this. They were fasting. Now, you won't believe this. One of them is so spiritually evolved. Not only doesn't he eat food, he doesn't drink water either. His name is Pierre. Very good. That was time release. Some of you may laugh tomorrow for no reason. It's okay. Very quick crowd, very quick. And you know, we're living in very, very interesting times now. Our current political new word, situation. Now we have a situation. And people are feeling very, very much in despair. And a lot of people are going, is this the hand of God at work? Or just the middle finger? You're trying to figure that out. It has gotten so serious and so dire that there are people who are actually talking about the end times. The end times. Now, a couple of months back, maybe you remember, the rapture was supposed to happen. It didn't happen. I met somebody who was very disappointed and depressed because the rapture didn't happen. I said, come on, cheer up. It's not the end of the world. But because of all of these things, I've actually gone to the Bible and looked in the book of Revelations to see what they have to say about this, and you won't believe it. This is true. It says that a sign of the end times, it says, and the last trump shall blow. Well, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Trump blows. That's true. That's true. And because this is a time when evolution has played its trump card. And in this sense, evolution means it's a chance for us to really overgrow what we have had before. And so with the current president in place, we have the appropriate face on our empire. This is what we're looking at. This is what we've been for the past 40, 50, or 60 years, and we had a nice face on it. Now we have the appropriate face. So this is a challenge for what I am calling an evolutionary upwising, where we wake up, wise up, grow up, and show up as a new species, humanity, or as I call them, humankind, where the currency is human kindness. So our president now is doing a very valuable job in showing us exactly what we don't want. He set a new standard. He's definitely set a new standard. People are saying, well, this proves that anyone can grow up to be president. I'd go even further. I'd say you don't even have to grow up to be president. We must have compassion for him, because behind every soulless heel, there is an unhealed soul. And so as light workers, our job is not only to heal souls, but to re-soul heals. Right? I have a new program for doing this. It's called From A-Hole to B-Hole. No, I was doing this presentation. You can always tell the psychics they're laughing at the next joke. I'm getting there. Be patient. No, last summer I was touring, and I said that, and a man came up to me very, very angry about the fact. He said, I resent you comparing Donald Trump to an a-hole. I said, oh, I'm sorry, are you a Trump supporter? He says, no, I'm an a-hole. It has been predicted that a great shift will be taking place during these times, and many people are asking, why is this shift happening to me? Well, because shift happens, that's why. The shift has hit the fan, and even if you're not a fan of shifting, you have to recognize that it's time for we as a humanity to shift or get off the pot. No, if you need pot to shift, stay on pot, that's okay. Because, no, they just had this, this study that says that all of us have cannabinoid receptors in our brains. Did you know that? Yeah, the part of the brain that's called the hippocampus. When the hippocampus is stimulated, you see farce fields and laugh at invisible jokes. And to answer your question, yes, I tried it once, but I didn't exhale. And during these challenging times, people are consulting the great mystics on the planet. Now there are two kinds of mystics. There are the optimistics and the pessimistics. The pessimistics believe that they're more in touch with reality, but the optimistics are happier and live longer. The pessimists are saying, oh, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. The optimists say, no, it just looks that way because we're ascending. Darling, you ascend me. I know that you... Oh, well, we'll save Sam for later. But really, it's a very interesting time that we're living in. Very important to have some kind of spiritual practice. And even people who don't consider themselves spiritual or religious, they have been practicing mindfulness, right? Who's been practicing mindfulness? Anybody? Okay. I'll tell you why. Because here in the information age, we're inundated with so much information that we experience mindfulness. And so the solution is to empty the mind through mindfulness. Figure that one out. And in fact, I've been studying this very carefully for years, and people have been complimenting me. They've been saying, Swami, you are so full of emptiness. No, I studied with a great mindfulness teacher. He told me the 2 principles of how to be peaceful and mindful. Number 1, clear your mind of all thoughts. Number 2, focus on the center of yourself. And here I am now thoughtless and self-centered. As extra spiritual protection, I have my power animal and spirit guide with me today, Bullwinkle. And I'll tell you why. Because no matter what your problem is, if you channel Bullwinkle to tell people your problems, it sounds funnier. So, really, let's say that you lost your job and you have no money. Channel Bullwinkle. I just lost my job and I have no money. It's funnier. And so I'm wearing my Musafix today. Can you see this? I have a bit of a Musafixation myself. No, this is serious. Jesus came to me in a dream and he asked me to wear this. I said, why? What does it mean? He says, it means, for Christ's sake, lighten up. Because the world is in serious condition, largely because of our conditioning to be serious. Seriously, yeah. Take politics, please. We have a deeply divided body politic in this country. Half the population believes our elections are broken, and the other half believe that they're fixed. We have been divided into 2 political tribes, the red tribe Republicans, blue tribe Democrats, who spend all of their energy arguing about whether it is worse to kill the born or the unborn. Meanwhile, the Commonwealth has been hijacked by a very, very small percentage of the uncommonly wealthy, and the bill has been sent to the not yet born. The solution is, this is part of the uprising, bring left and right, front and center, to face the music and dance together, so we can turn the funk into function and leave the junk at the junction. Yeah, yeah. We have to bring red tribe and blue tribe together in sacred circle and to sit and talk until they're purple in the face. Because only by standing together as one purple people will the peeps outnumber the perps. The purpose of the peeps is to outnumber the perps. And so this is where we are right now. It's a very challenging time. As we're coming to recognize, all of the conversations that we are having have to do with whether we believe in the illusion of separation or in the truth of connection, of oneness. And this is why all of this is a spiritual conversation. Are we going to feed love or will we feed fear? And the good news is love is more powerful than fear. Otherwise, we'd be singing, all you need is fear. She fears you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're not singing that, and that is a good thing. And so this is our choice right now. And so the spiritual engagement is very important. So how many seekers of wisdom do we have with us tonight? Very good, very good. Because as you know, there's a seeker born every minute, right? And 2 to take him along the path, yes? It is not easy being on the path. If you're on the path, we have to watch very carefully where you step. I am writing a new book about being on the path. It's called Looking Out for Number 2. Right? You've got a whole world of people looking out for number 1. There's going to be plenty of number 2. Like yourself. Now, I have to confess, I too was a seeker of wisdom. In fact, I tried so many spiritual paths, I was pathological. I expanded my mind so much I couldn't fit through my door. Had to go to a shrink. I was addicted to spirit. I was hitting the source pretty hard in those days. But of course, I'm all recovered now. I'm curious, has anybody ever been to one of these codependency groups? Well, you know, I thought about going. I just couldn't find anyone to go with. But when I did go, I discovered that I am addicted to chocolate. Yeah, so not only am I codependent, I am co-codependent. You know, and they have groups for everybody nowadays, believe it. There's a group for people who feel like nobodies. Anonymous, anonymous. They have an unlisted number, you can't find them. But any overachievers with us today? Good news for you. New group I just heard about called Overachievers Anonymous. They have a 24-step program. But you know, I think that I have discovered what has to be the ultimate of all of these groups. It's called Children of Parents. Yeah, a lot of people belong to that one. And so actually, they say you have to hit bottom, and I hit bottom in my spiritual quest. I woke up one morning in a strange biker crash pad, and everything smelled like incense. I looked around me, and the bikers had these orange leather vests and funny ponytails. I went, oh my God, I've become a Harley Krishna. And at that moment, I looked in the mirror, and I achieved full realization. I realized I'm a fool. And there's nothing to do but laugh. Because you know the old saying, laugh at yourself, and the whole world will laugh at you too. And since that time, I have been practicing fundamentalism with the accent on the fun, not to be confused with fundamentalism accent on the mental. You know, those fundamentalists, they say that heaven is above us. The fundamentalists say heaven is where we make it. So why don't we go for heaven on earth just for the hell of it? Because we are not here to earn God's love, we're here to spend it. We call this supply-side spirituality. Be more supplying and less demanding. That is the secret. And as a fundamentalist, I believe life is a joke. But God is laughing with us, not at us. The Creator is watching the Comedy Channel. We are what's on. Now, we have been given free choice in life. We get to decide whether or not we laugh. So, if you want to be miserable, go right ahead, whatever makes you happy. But I say that underneath all of the stress and distress and sadness in life, there is a deep well of joy. And every time we let laughter bubble up out of that deep well, we experience deep wellness. But sometimes we forget to laugh. Anybody go a day without laughing recently? Irregular hilarity. You need a good laxative every day. Anyone go a week without laughing? Oh my God, you could be suffering from hemorrhoids. Oh, hemorrhoids, that is an enlargement of the onus. Where you feel so much responsibility, the only thing you're ever able to pass is heavy judgment. Now, we've all heard that laughter is healing. And maybe you've heard the story about Norman Cousins. He was a writer about 40 years ago, diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. He checked into a hotel room with Marx Brothers movies and candid camera reruns, and he got well. And when he cured himself, the medical establishment decided they are going to study the healing power of laughter, which is kind of like, well, it works in practice, but does it work in theory? And when they studied the... That's good, you're healing yourself right now, that's good. That's good. No, this is really good, because when we laugh, what happens is, what they've actually studied, the physiology of laughter, what happens is our body secretes these hormones called endorphins, which are natural painkillers. Laughing actually improves our immune system function. Laughter lowers the blood pressure. Because when we laugh, it causes our blood vessels to dilate, better than having them die early. I would mind to die as late as possible. Something else, you're going to love this. Laughing burns calories. So I have a new program, I call it Laugh Your Ass Off. Lose weight, lose weightiness, all the same. Now, on the more serious side, people are asking me, Swami, will there ever be peace on earth? I have great news. There will be peace on earth. I certainly hope we humans are around to enjoy it, yes? I'll tell you something, because we have been living for 5,000 years under the rule of the lowest common denominator. Whoa. Yes. And the rule of gold has overruled the golden rule. Hmm? Rule of gold. Do unto others before they can do unto you. Consequently, there's a lot of residue. Hmm? And so the question that we have to deal with right now, can we undo the doo-doo that has been done? Or will the done doo-doo be our undoing? Hmm? And so we have to recognize that the outside world is a reflection of the inner psyche. And so we want to have peace out there, we have to create peace in here. So I have created a new technique to help us metabolize some of this residue. I call it tantrum yoga. Tantrum yoga. Use your anger to heat your home in the wintertime. Yeah, up north they do it a lot. They're very angry people up north. I don't know if you knew that. Now, tantrum yoga, that is where you hold your breath until God gives you what you want. That is how Krishna turned blue. You want to be a blue Krishna without you? Blue Krishna. Now it's the jacket. It's that jacket. I got this jacket at an Elvis convention in Las Vegas, and Elvis pops out every now and then. You know, Elvis, did you know there's an Elvis religion? Presbyterianism? One of those new light religions, same satisfying flavor, 1/3 the commandments. Hmm? Because Elvis asks only 3 things of us. Love me tender, please surrender, return to sender. Hmm? Yeah, I was impressed too. I actually became an Elvis's witness. No, we go door to door proselytizing every Saturday night. We'd ring the doorbell, they'd open the door, we'd say, "Are you lonesome tonight?" And people go right to Graceland just from that. But there's many, many ways of cultivating the inner peace, because I think that each of us brings a little piece of the peace. And when enough of us bring a piece of the peace, we'll have one big piece everywhere. Hmm? That's what will happen. So partly, one factor in being peaceful is being positive. So I have a new program, I call it Just Saying No to Negativity. Positively no negativity. The second practice, and this is a challenging practice, but it will help you feel more peaceful. Bless everything. Bless everything. Driver cuts you off over here on 405, you have to bless that driver. Bless you. Bless you too. Go bless yourself. Now this works. I tried it the other day. The other driver actually gave me half of a peace sign. And living under this shadow of do unto others and domination and so on, that we've all become very defensive, and we use all of these war metaphors all the time. Who remembers the war on poverty? Remember the war on poverty? Well, it's over. The poor people surrendered. You know, and so we have to really recognize our language. And you know what? We have a beautiful, beautiful national anthem. But maybe it's time that we stopped affirming bombs bursting in air. Hmm? And what's with these ramparts? I don't want to look at ramparts. I'm sorry. I don't want to watch that. I think that's very perverse, if you ask me. I don't care how gallantly they're streaming, please. I don't know. The only ones who should be watching ramparts are sheep, okay? Because we humans have been ramming parts for far too long. And all of this rutting has gotten us into a rut. Because when you just have aggressive male energy in a country, you know what you have? Stagnation. We need the feminine energy to balance it out, to make a donation. And and together we can activate one of the most underused tools in the toolkit, imagination. If we want things to be different, we have to be able to imagine them being different first. My guru, Hari Khan Baba, the Garment Center Saint, he said that life is like a good deli. Even if something isn't on the menu, if enough people order it, they have to make it. And I know a lot of people have gotten so caught up in watching the news and all of this stuff. I know this group is more evolved than that. But I have to be very blunt with you. Mainstream media is a brainwashing machine stuck on spin. Only, yes, you can applaud if you believe it's true, yes. Only one mainstream news network telling the truth about what they're broadcasting. CBS. Hey, you want a CBS? They got plenty of it. I like it when they detonate. We call this ejaculation. That's good. Oh, the ascended fooling masters of the Far East, they would preserve their laugh force by not ejaculating, but that's a whole other story. Oh. Anyway, yeah, so if you don't want a CBS and you're tired of the current programming, simple solution: turn off your TV and television instead. I tell a vision to you, you tell a vision to me. We have healing and functional visions to step into, and that beats what we've been stepping into. So I will begin by telling a vision. Imagine think tanks where they think about more than tanks. Imagine young people living for their country instead of dying for it. Yeah. Well, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Swami, you're proposing a sane world, you must be crazy. But there's no need to change the world. There is a simpler way. I say, let's toilet train the world, and we will never have to change it again. Because you human beings have left a pretty messy diaper. And as we are evolving in this great uprising, we're evolving from children of God to adults of good. But we are in this awkward middle phase called adolescence. Our essence has been addled by toxic beliefs and misperceptions. And so the key is we have to leave the dueling dualities of the head for the unity of the heart. What people believe is unbelievable. So we have to leave the static of the head for the ecstatic of the heart. The more we expand our hearts, the less we're going to need to shrink our heads. We develop heartland security, we don't have to worry about homeland security. That's the future right there. Yes, thank you. And so I'm looking at this group. I see this as a very, very evolved group. I'm looking at your auras. I see some of you have had orgasms recently, so you're a little brighter. And you recognize that each of us already has all of the answers within. It's matching them with the corresponding questions. That is the challenge. And so at this point in the program, if you have an answerable question for the Swami will have a questionable answer for you. Don't be afraid to appear foolish. Look at me, I have bullwinkle around my neck. There's something puzzle. Oh, you got a question already, yes.
How do you remember all of these jokes?
I forgot. I have what's called rememberfulness. I can't help. You know, and actually, this is all of them are out there. You know, there's a planetary force field The boson layer. And so all I have to do is to reach up to the boson layer and these things manifest. When you immerse yourself in this, the second part of the program, which we call Defying Gravity, will be about how you can also access these force fields. But that's really how it is. It's all out there. It's all out there. All of the jokes are out there and we have to pluck them. Okay, so who else? Yes, way back, way in the back.
What's the difference between a duck?
What is the difference between a duck? Well, obviously, that is one of those Zen koans, an unanswerable question designed to stop the mind. And you succeeded in stopping my mind. Very good, thank you. Now I have one for you. This is a Zen koan for everybody because there's an unsolvable puzzle. If you concentrate long enough, enlightening can strike. Okay, who remembers that great football player from the 80s, Refrigerator Perry? Remember him? Think about this. When Refrigerator Perry closes his mouth, does his inner light go out? Okay, yes.
What is reality?
What is reality? Well, it's reality TV without the TV. Now, I know you didn't like that answer, but I wasn't crazy about the question, so we're all set. Who else?
Is there a koan which is not Zen?
Is there a koan which is not Zen? It's now. The koan is now, okay? It's happening right now. It's happening right now. You missed it, actually. It happened a little bit ago. No, but really, all of this is designed to make, and laughter is the same way. It's designed to stop the mind from its monkey chatter, right? Because what happens when we laugh, there's a ha-ha, then there's an aha, and then there's an ah, as we take the journey from the head to the heart. Because what happens when we laugh, it causes breathing. And as you know, breathing is the key to long life. We breathe in, we inspire. When we don't, we expire. So very important. And so breathing gets our synapses synapsing, and we become more creative after we've laughed. Whereas fight or flight puts us in our limbs and makes us easy to manipulate. Okay, who else? Yes?
Where did you get such clear eyes?
Where did I get such clear eyes? I've never looked at them. I don't know. I'm seeing from these eyes. I'm seeing from these eyes. I use Clearasil on my eyeballs. Okay. More questions. I have several answers left. Yes?
Should we meditate every day?
Should we meditate every day? Well, if you premeditate, then you don't have to. This is really, there's many ways to find spiritual enlightenment. I think one of the keys to having a more enlightened point of view is to balance out the influence of the ego. So I've developed a very simple 3-word mantra to release the grip of the ego. Ego, egoing, egan. If you don't want to do the mantra, there's a much simpler way to clear the mind because, again, information age, you do too much thinking, thought particles tend to get caught between the ears, causing something called truth decay. Oh, well, 4 out of 5 transcendentists recommend mental floss. If you do this 2 times a day, you will not need to meditate. It will clear you right up. Okay, who else?
Is there life after Trump?
Is there life after what?
Trump.
Is there life after Trump? Now you see, this is really, this is one of those things, what is that saying? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So if we survive, we'll be stronger, we'll be wiser. And I'll tell you why, because the truth shall upset you free. And what we've had is a political system, you know, where there's this puppet show. Now, of course, there is a difference between the two political parties. I have to say that. The Republicans, they bend over backwards for the bankers and special interests. The Democrats, completely the opposite. They bend over forward. We have one political party that has sold its soul to the devil. The other one has just rented theirs. And so we have to overgrow the current system. We don't need a new president, we need a new precedent. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, where the government does our bidding, not the bidding of the highest bidder. Did you know that 71% of millennials, younger people, they are not interested in either of the two political parties. They want to have a one-party system, one big party, everyone is invited. And I think we need to, one of the reasons why, now Donald Trump did not win, Hillary Clinton lost. Let's make that very, very clear. And one of the reasons why the Democrats lost is because of identity politics, where we've been divided into all of these hyphenated groups and so on. And what we really need is identical politics, the identical issues that we all face. So rather than be arguing about, you know, whether we should rename the Cleveland Indians something else, or the Atlanta Braves, or the Washington Redskins, we should be talking about what happened at Standing Rock. That's the real issue. We don't need to focus on these microaggressions. We need to focus on the macroaggression, the identical issue that we all have in common: clean air, clean food, clean soil, clean water, a government that tells us the truth. And the only way we're going to get that is if we unify beyond the two political parties and focus on the virtues and values that the 90% of us who are not sociopaths have in common. And in doing that, we can isolate the sociopathogens in the body politic. You know, my colleague, Bruce Lipton, the cellular biologist, says that we have a thriving community underneath our skins of 50 trillion cells. 50 trillion cellular citizens, they all get along. We have universal health care, full employment, no cell left behind. The organs cooperate with each other. You never hear about the liver invading the pancreas, demanding the islets of Langerhans. So if we were as, if we were as smart as ourselves, we'd recognize that the next phase of human evolution is becoming this superorganism called humanity. And as we do that, we recognize that so much of our behavior is autoimmune disease. Unnecessary competition, unnecessary one against the other. Now, divide and conquer has been a classic way of controlling populations. And we are very, very well controlled. We have news media on one side telling people one thing, news media on the other telling them something else. We have two different realities that people live in. And so the only way out of that is to unite around the reality of love, the unity of love. No matter what side you're on, no matter how radical your politics on one side or the other, everybody knows what goodness is. And if you've not seen God, you've seen good. So that's what we need to cultivate, the qualities of love, truth, beauty, and goodness. And that's really what we have to do. Instead of resisting, instead of pushing against what we don't want, we want to actually gather together and focus on what we do want. And we need to increase our intention span so that we intend something that is different from what we have. More questions?
Aside from yourself, who's your favorite comedian and why?
I have no ego in this whatsoever. I take great pride in my humility. No, you know, actually, I think that, but somebody called me a political satirist, and they go, you know what? Political satire has actually been outstripped by reality. There is nothing that parody can do that hasn't been done. You know, somebody said, is there such a thing as bad taste comedy in bad taste, I said, yes, it's called the news. I mean, look at what's been going on with all of these, you know, and again, part of the uprising, the lifting of the veils. The lifting of the veils. We're getting to see all of these shadow pieces. And laughter shines the light on the darkened corridors of power. So of course I love George Carlin, a brilliant genius like that. Of course Robin Williams, yes, all of these people. Going back, Steve Allen was always a favorite of mine. Groucho Marx, I was a Marxist. And a Leninist too, by the way.
What about Bill Maher?
What about Bill Maher? Of course, all of the current comedians right now are really political educators because they are helping people, I call it pumping ironies. We as a body politic are suffering from irony deficiency. Now seeing a doctor won't help, but seeing a paradox will. So here's a paradox. Holy war in the Holy Land. How about that one? Or how about we need a police state to protect our freedoms? How about that one? So what these comedians are doing is they're exaggerating and they're bringing all of this stuff to consciousness so that more people wake up and wise up. Who else? Yes?
The funniest comedy night I thought I ever saw was Middle Eastern comedy tour. But that was 6 years ago. You know, what I see Islam doing is not very funny. Do you get any humor out of it?
Middle Eastern comedy tour?
Yeah, that was really funny. You know, comedians from all those countries just making fun of themselves and their parents and everything.
In fact, I was at a conference where there was a Palestinian comedian, Jewish comedian. They were doing this stuff. And again, this is, I think before we have peace in the Middle East, we need to have peace in the Middle West. So when we handle our problems, then we can go over there to handle somebody else's. But I have been praying for peace in the Middle East. You know that there was a man, it's a true story, and every day in Jerusalem, little Jewish man, he would go to the Wailing Wall and pray for peace every day. 25 years. And he was very modest about it. And so finally a reporter found out, and she very gently, he sees him walking back from his prayer. She says, excuse me, I understand that every day for 25 years you've come to the Wailing Wall to pray for peace. He goes, yes, that's right. And she says, you haven't missed a day. He goes, no, I haven't. She says, tell me, what has it been like? He said, like talking to a wall. And so I was praying and I was traveling on the higher planes. The higher planes, you know about the higher planes?
Tell us.
Yeah, when you lose your baggage on the higher plane, that's good because you don't take it to the next lifetime with you. And so I'm sitting there, the guy sitting next to me looks very, very familiar. I said, you look familiar. He says, yes, I am George Gershwin. He says, I said, George Gershwin, the composer. He says, that's right. I said, well, what are you doing these days? He says, decomposing. No, he had a very good sense of humor, yes. But he's been following the goings-on this planet, and he was very sad that in the Middle East we have the Palestinians and the Israelis. They have similar languages. They're like cousins, but they cannot seem to get along to save their lives. And so he gave me a song for peace in the Middle East, and I will end this set with that. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
It goes like this. You say salam, and I say shalom. You throw a bomb, I blow up your home. Salam, shalom, we blow up our home. Let's call the old thing off. You say baraka, I say baruka. I spin the dreidel, you toke the hookah. Baruka, baraka, this warfare, it's caca. Let's call the old thing off. And so, if we call the old thing off, we'll all be right. And oh, if we are all right, well, there's no need to fight. I eat the kasha, you eat the kibbe. We both dig falafel, but never pork ribby. To kasha, to kibbe, forget the pork ribby. At least there's one thing we agree on. Haven't we had enough? Let's call the whole thing off. Oh yeah. Let's call the whole thing off. Everybody. Let's call the whole thing off. Thank you. That's all, folks. Thank you so much. Who believes in the hereafter? Okay, well, I'll be here after signing the book in the other room. It's a no-lose proposition. If I become very famous, you will have a famous autograph, and if not, you'll have a rare book. And then Trudy will announce the break, and then when the show resumes, I will be in a different costume. I am a multiple personality, and you'll see one of the other personalities, other than Bullwinkle. Okay, thank you. Namaste, namaste, goodbye. Thank you.